Hello, I am very unsure about what this video is going to be, but I'm excited to make it. It is 3:05 in the morning and my day is just getting started. I haven't slept at all. Again, it's a running theme, but I did sleep not this night into today, but the one prior. And it was thanks to you guys being awesome and giving me an outlet to be able to talk and really share my mind and share my thoughts. I should say, open my mind and talk to you guys and share my thoughts and really just have a place to be me. So, thank you. I always am just so appreciative for everything you guys are and everything you guys have been, and I just am overwhelmed with the positive feedback and support and just everything you guys have shown me. And lately, I've been very raw and just impromptu and just throwing up videos just left and right, like, hey, you know what, this is what's on my mind, let's do this. And that's how it should be, because that's how I want to be. I want to be real with you guys every day. So if I'm having a good moment, like I kind of am right now, I'm gonna upload something. I don't have a whole lot to say, so it's not gonna be like the most in depth, but it's gonna be here. So I have a really personal, cool video about how one of my pets, it's not exactly a pet, it's an emotional support animal, how they really like helped me and saved me in a really personal situation. I'm sorry if you hear like a thumping. um, I have, it's a long story, I'll explain. I don't want to waste your time on a tangent, but I have a little bird and she's playing with one of her latches because she's up on top. It's my grandma's bird. It's up on top of her perch and she's playing, like slamming one of the empty water dishes I've got there, water feeders I've got there, drippers I've got there to clean out, just slamming it and playing with it as she's on like this perch thing for some exercise and out time. So she can fly, like she can do what she wants. She's the only one out right now, but she chooses to play with the things set to the side to be washed, so I don't know why. Anyway, that's not the point right now. But felt like you guys deserved an explanation. Anyway, that's not the point. Anyways, I'm all over the place right now because I'm trying to think about work and what I need to do. But I wanted to give you guys like kind of a quick upload about the things I have that I really, really, really want to either cut together a few things that I filmed and either make a video with that material and put it up for you guys, or film a video altogether about, because I'm excited about it and I want to just do something special. So I wanted to give you guys an idea of the things on my mind and why, and then put the poll up the day later or later tonight or something like that. So the things on my mind are making a video about the animal who's really helped me with my PTSD and why that animal's helped me so much. I also have another animal related video, but it isn't with mental health or PTSD, and that is just a video about why I'm so, I guess it kind of is, it's why I love breeding ball pythons so much, and actually why breeding them and getting into the specific morphs and what they can and cannot create when you put certain things together, why that has helped my depression in my life so much and has given me so much love over the years. And something to focus on. It helps quite a bit. It's just something that I'm really passionate about and I love talking about, and either way I'll make videos about it, but it doesn't need to be the next thing I talk about, or it could be. So that's something I definitely want to get up soon, but again, it doesn't have to be the next thing that I put up or don't put up. So that one is one, like I said, or the video about the other animal that helped me. And I also want to put up how that animal specifically helped me after the incidences with the police recently. And I also wanted to state, I saw a comment question and I didn't get to reply to it yet just because I've been in the middle of editing some stuff and some content for a couple of other places. So I didn't get to comment back yet, but I think it's absolute junk too about the whole red light, yellow light thing. I don't think it makes any sense. and I'm in Wisconsin. And again, the fact that they had nothing to even like write me a warning about or give me a warning about it's just, I just think it's unfair. And I think if I slammed my brakes the second it turned yellow in the middle of an intersection, I would be really endangering a lot of people. And I can't just stop in the middle of an intersection on yellow. It would be different if it was yellow like way before I got to the intersection and then I rushed through. But I was already, like I said, I was already through, like going through, and then it clicked yellow while I was well but into the intersection. So there was no way for me to have, like, I was waving through it and it was still yellow. Like, I would have hurt people. Like, I'd have to reverse. And there was someone behind me, obviously, so I couldn't have. Not that you should reverse in an intersection. But, anyway, so I agree with that comment 100%. This video is all over the place, but I'm still going to upload it because I'm not going to redo it. And I feel like sometimes the raw and not so beautiful videos should be uploaded. But I agree with that comment that 100% that was not true or cool or right. And it's just, that's not the law. I don't think the law is speeding through it either, but I slowed down even though I was in the intersection, and it was just not fair. But anyways, this all aside, I think that video is kind of good left there for now. There's no updates, nothing crazy about it. So I either want to make one or two or both of those videos about the animals kind of one after another. So that might be one option or two options on the poll. And I already kind of explained why. They both help me in very huge ways, in different ways. And I love them very much. I could again do an update video, but right now life has a lot of stuff going on that's really kind of gotten me down to talk about. So I almost would want to either focus on specific events one at a time once I've processed them, or I would want to specifically sit down and make a couple of long videos updating you. So I really don't want to just try to catch you up in a very impersonal way or in a personal way that's not detailed enough, because I don't think that's fair. So I would like to hold off a little bit on something like that. So that probably won't be one of the options. I'm trying to think. So one or two options about animals. I was thinking another thing that I could post about would be just an updated video about where I'm at, like where I'm at in my life, like what I want to do with my life. As far as, obviously I want to do stuff with my animals and all, I already said that, but with everything that I've been through, with everything that's happened, I obviously don't feel as secure going out and doing a lot of the things I've wanted to do. But I feel like I still want to reach people and make a difference and get my message out there. So different ways I want to do that, especially using this platform, and different things I wish I could do, in different ways that I'm going to try to make videos more often and make my videos better. So maybe something like that. And then I also want to make a video, or have an option out about a video with just basically talking about some of the videos that did really good on this channel. Like, I've got one random video that was just updating you guys about my channel and being detailed about some of the stuff that happened in my life. It got 55,000 views. Another one that's got over 500,000 views. It's over 600,000 now. That was about BDSM and a yes, no, maybe list from forever ago. And that was before everything happened. And I've always thought about redoing the list altogether, because it would be very different now, but also very the same in some ways, with a trusted person. Not that, it's easy to find trusted people or a trusted person, but it would be interesting to see that perspective. So I've always thought that would take a lot of planning and a lot of time to do. But I've always wanted to do a video kind of talking about the videos that did good, and then starting a discussion about which videos would you like to see me kind of make a newer, updated version on. So if you'd like to see that, I'd love to hear about that. Like, your thoughts about those too. Like, if those would be any of the videos I mentioned would be something you'd want to hear, or if you'd like me to talk about those videos that did like pretty good on the channel, and maybe tap into redoing some of them in the future. And I also would love to do a video on how I've had to relook at myself as a person after everything that's went on, especially now that it's getting delayed and delayed and delayed and prolonged with COVID and with everything else going on, because it takes a lot. You have to totally relook at yourself as a person, and you have to really start understanding why people are the way they are, why people are rotten, why people deflect blame, and when you have to heal and move forward to be a better mom, to be there for your kids, why people would say heinous things to you and not realize they caused it. You know, if somebody at the drop of a hat could do the most horrible physical things and they'd only do it when you're around, you know, so you're not going to want to come around and cause them to be that physical monster because you cause it, right? But then you're being the irresponsible one and you're being the bad mom apparently because you don't want to be around, right? It's like you're always the bad one in that person's eyes. They always deflect to you. But when you're always being called the bad one, it's easy to take that blame onto yourself. And for abusers, they really do just deflect and they do just put the blame off. And they do just blame and victim blame and shame. And it's like, I wish there was a way to force them to see how horrible they treat people and how wrong it is. Like, no one would ever want to come home, especially at the risk that it is true that they are the ones that make the person more violent, that it's their fault. Why would they want to come home and make someone be violent around those that they care about? That's them being a better person. That's them getting their kids around someone safe, like a grandparent, like something else, and then going out of the situation so they can keep the kids safe and so they can make sure the situation is never violent. And those are things that I would love to talk about too, because I feel like there's a lot of people who get very much so blamed, like I got blamed, for being all of these horrible things that I was not, by the person who essayed me. And you get called the worst things in the world, and they will continue to call you those things. And then you have all this time to think about them and to prepare for being recalled these horrible things. And it's like, most people will prepare you for, you know, obviously what happened and reliving what happened. But for all of the little parts they're going to pick apart and all the little awful things they said to you, it's like, don't be ashamed of why you did it. Really realize, what were you thinking in that moment? You weren't thinking, oh, well, I just, you know, I want to be terrified to walk in the house for 4 or 5 hours, so I'm going to sit, you know, 2 houses down and tremble in my car, just staring with binoculars, staring at the fucking window because I'm so scared. That's not a logical thing to think of. No. But why did you do it? That's the kind of stuff you need to really talk about, be honest. Say, no, I was a good mom because I did this, or a good dad because I did this. Because if I believed I was the reason this person was violent. I believed they were safer with these people, with my grandparents, and I was the reason that this person was being violent. So if this person could be drunken over here, or could be alone in this area, and the kids could be over here, as long as I wasn't around, they would stay away. That's what I was going to do. Or as long as they were going to be coming home and they were going to be right there, they'd be okay and they would just go to sleep or play a video game if I wasn't around. Then yeah, sure, I would stay away, or I would sneak in if they fell asleep and go through the back door, or whatever it may be. You do what you do to try to keep the beast calm when you're in an abusive relationship. Is that me being a bad mom? No, it's me trying to keep my kids safe. And that's me getting to the place I went to, the basic, it's like a clinic situation where they got a safety plan and they got me to the police and they got me where I could get him out and get to the police and get him to where he was gone and get the sexual assault kit. And now that's the only reason it is where it is. And it's one of those things, like, I'm so thankful for all of that. But it's so easy to hear all those horrible things, like, oh, why were you gone for, why were you gone for an hour? That's you. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible mom. You were a half hour late. even though I was the only person working, mind you. I was the one bringing in all of the money and doing everything. It's like, it's easy, like, oh, well, I was a half hour late. Well, I was a half hour late because I was sitting there working on a safety plan to get this person away from my family. Or I was trying to make sure that this person wasn't by the front door so I could walk in and not have to even speak to them, because then there would be yelling. These are the things that I had to be sure of that I had to do. And it's so hard because you have to dot all of these I's and cross all of these T's. But when a monster is trying to make you look bad and a monster is trying to make you feel bad, they'll just call you the worst person in the world. Well, you weren't willing to, you weren't willing to be called a few names and walk in the door and deal with me. That's you being irresponsible. That's you being a bad person. No, it's not. That's me trying to make sure my kids didn't hear yelling and vile language and horrible things. That's me trying to keep the cool and the calm for them, and me trying to just walk through the back door if I had to. And I feel like there's so many of those type of things that aren't talked about that need to be talked about, because that's what they don't prepare you for. And I haven't had anyone even try to prepare me for that kind of stuff. And that's a lot of what I think about at night. Like, those little words get to me all the time. Some of the stuff they said to me during the essay, a lot of that is brought up to me, and some of the stuff that was said and the stuff that still hurts and the injuries I still have, that's brought up, sure. But some of the stuff that was said in life and the threats after and the horrible things that were said during getting the restraining order and all, that stuff's not brought up for crap, other than, oh, well, he's just a bad guy. No. It doesn't mean that that's how I process it. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, or it doesn't mean it's not bad. And after taking a lot of work with my counselor, Michelle, who's helped me a lot, I won't say her last name, but she's been amazing, I've been able to see that it was all just a farce. I knew I was protecting my kids, and even this person's adopted parents knew what a monster he is and was and always will be. And I hope that in the end that either I just hope that he really truly, I don't even know. There's no deal out there that he deserves. And part of me feels like he'd be crazy not to take a deal, because he knows that everybody around him knows the monster that he is. They know that. His parents know that. Everybody knows that. Everyone who's ever dealt with him knows that. And it would be crazy for him not to, but he doesn't deserve a deal. Not with what he does. Not with what he did. Not with what my face looked like. Not with... No. He knows what he did. He knows. And that it's just so unfair. He, even after because of how bad it got physically, he wrote a contract, which, by the way, I have. And believe me, I have copies of it, I should say, because I don't have the original, because that would be irresponsible for legal reasons. But he wrote out a contract saying that he would only use hard drugs one more time because he knows how violent that he got, and like crazy stuff that he wrote out and he signed. He's got a distinct signature. Like, some of the stuff, it's crazy to think that after you agreed and signed some of the stuff, and some of the stuff, like, literally, like, pricked his finger, put blood on it, like, because he's crazy, some of the stuff that is written out. Like, unbelievable, some of the stuff that he would think is just a logical thing to say. Like, oh, well, it was just nuts. Like, because for example, one of them was because he is physical to me, that he would only do a hard opiate one more time because that would be fair, and then he would never use it again. Like, what does that have to do with anything? And then he would be done, and then he wouldn't bring it around anymore because he knows it's hard for... That's wrong, and it's hard for everything, and it was just shit. I mean, I couldn't tell you everything specifically that went into exactly why it was written out the way it was, because I don't remember the exact... I mean, I couldn't tell you the exact thought process that went into exactly why it was, what it was. It was written out why it was the way it was. But I know that it was one of the biggest things was when he was effed up. He hurt me very badly before the essay, before the time where he just was out of his mind, and it was the worst ever, before the worst event that ever happened. I know it was just crazy. And like, before it was just crazy, he wrote out that he would stop after using one more time, because one of the times that he got physical, like I said, was when he was under the influence. And he didn't want to bring it around anymore, didn't want to bring it around the family and the kids and just everything like that. But it was just such a mess. And it was before the worst time ever, before the horrible, like, I didn't even recognize him essay. Just like, it was before everything. But again, I don't remember every ounce of what we talked about and why everything was written how it was in that exact contractual thing that was written out. But it was just the level of things he found rational to write out. Like, it was rational to say, I'm sorry that I beat you while under the influence, so I'm going to agree that I'll just use this one more time. It's okay one more time. But that'll be it, I promise. Like, it was just crazy. Like, I just don't understand it. I just don't. Just certain things, it doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't. At some point, I hope he really at some point just says, like, part of me hopes that he just really realizes how far off he is and how just absurd some of that is, and just takes the deal and gets help and really actually, like, tries to just take a good hard look at himself. And I hope he never hurts anyone again. And I hope he looks inward and stops his shit. But another part of me is like, he can't change. Monsters don't change. You cannot change when you're like that. You can't change. You can't. Because I wasn't the first. He is scared and tortured and stalked and been terrible to many. He's got people living in fear that were way before me. And it's not fair. It's not right. And I think the most sick thing in the world is that his adopted mom is enabling it. You're enabling it by bailing him. You're enabling it by driving him. You're enabling it by taking him there. You're not responsible. Once somebody hits 18, you're done. And you're an adopted parent. You're not responsible. You're not. This person is over 30 years old. You're done. Go away. If you ever want him to grow up, make him be a man. Go away. Like, why are you taking this boy who's a rapist, who is literally one of the sickest human beings out there, who is vile, who is worse to her than anybody, and supporting him? It's sick. And I swear, if one of my kids ever acts like that, I will not be there. They will be on their own. I will be there for the victim. That's who I'll be there for. Male or female victim, I'll be there for that person. Because it's just wrong. I can't stand it. And so few people understand the level of torture people go through mentally, to where they feel like they are these untouchable, unlovable human beings because of how destroyed their worlds are over this. This person can be free and be a human, and I have to be afraid of walking outside. Like, it's not fair, and it's wrong, and it's not fair. And he should never have been free. I don't care if it's COVID. He should have been locked up. It's insane to me. This is done. This is ridiculous, and it's wrong, and I'm just so angry, and it makes me 10 times sharper and cleaner mentally and emotionally, and ready to just, it makes me remember every little detail more crisp and more cleanly, and oh my god, every little piece of everything is just vivid, and it's terrible. The level of just horrors. And it's crazy because so many people drive people crazy, and then once somebody snaps and starts getting upset or not trusting anything and questioning, then they're like, oh, well, why do you question everything? And they make that person feel like they're crazy for not believing someone. And I want to make a detailed video on that, because it's so unfair in this world how many people will sit there, and he would sit there and get you to like love something about him, something that he loved too, and then he changed the detail a little bit, and then a little bit, and a little bit, and a little bit, until all of a sudden like a person was totally different, or how long you dated a person was different, or that person wasn't even that person, or and it was huge stuff too, from like being an escort with other men to he was straight to he was totally gay to I mean, all over the place stuff, which all over the place. And this is very mild compared to all the stuff that he said and that is out there publicly. It's not on me. It's on public sites. It's not me, and I'm not exposing anybody or outing anybody. So it's crazy, and it's like you are driving somebody crazy, so of course somebody's going to ask, is that true? Can I believe you? Can I trust you? Am I going to look stupid? He stole medication from my grandmother. I mean, crazy stuff. And I'm sitting there looking crazy when he's going, I have no idea where that went. He had us literally go as far to call the pharmacists and be like, you guys are literally shorting my grandmother. You guys are sick, to call the police. Like, he's crazy. Like, he will take things to the farthest ends of the world. He will be overdosing on stuff in front of you and be like, I didn't take anything. And then as he's convulsing, be like, well, maybe, like, it's insane how bad he is. He lies about everything. And then he expects people to just be okay with that. And then I'm sure at some point he doesn't even remember the truth, but he's he just twists every little detail. He's a terrible human being, and he needs to be accountable at the very least. And I want to make a video, so my long rambling point about this is I want to make a video about how people need to look inward and realize that it's not true that there's his side, her side, and the truth, or that there's two sides in the truth, that there is a certain level of trauma that people go through when you become so desensitized and have such a low self-worth that if anything, you start telling the other side's story. You start belittling your own truth. Because I started catching myself, if anything, talking his side better than mine. I was not telling my side up. I wasn't trying to help myself. For the most part, I was not even pleading my own case. Yeah, I was saying what happened to me, but bare bones minimum. Bare bones. And leaving out a lot of important stuff. And then being afraid and being like, I don't know what to say to that. Is that really what he said? And being terrified because you're so scared. When you have PTSD and when you are so beaten down, there is no way that you are going to sit there and ever be anything but 100% honest. You're just not. You're not. Yes, I'm sure there are some people that could be dishonest. I'm sure there are. But in my situation, in my case, and with most people that have the level of crap in this type of area that they just were beaten down personally, the fear of having somebody disbelieve you or not be there to side you, you will make yourself, you will say the worst thing that you think. You will put it out there. You will black and white say the most disgusting and vile thing you thought of, because you don't ever want somebody to question you ever again, because you know what it's like to be questioned on the most horrible event in your life, when you were like in the worst and most vulnerable moment, and you have spoken nothing but the truth. Nothing but the truth. Every word you said was honest. And that is so true. You did not lie at all. Not a word was a lie. Anyway, so I feel like it's so important to note that in those situations, people don't They do not bullshit. It's not. He said, she said, it's not. And not for men or women or people, they, thems, nobody. It, in those situations with people like that, you don't anymore. I will say some of the most things that could get me canceled off this, to lose a little bit of a following that I have, and this means everything to me. You guys mean everything to me. You're my escape. You guys are my peace. I will not ever risk being, I will never risk being seen as a liar, or being seen as somebody whose word isn't for what it is. Even if that means I have to say something that I thought that wasn't good, or that is awful or cancelable, or whatever you want to say. Because I just want to be sure that as long as I'm speaking and standing up for myself, I'll be there to stand up for someone else too. And if I can stand up for myself, and I'm nowhere near as important as my friends or you guys or my kids or anybody else, if I can be seen as being honest and there for myself, then I'll be 10 times better for the next person. And that matters so much to me. That's so important to me. That means so much to me. And I want to be able to prove that it's worth it, and it's worth all of this hell to go through this, and it will pay off. And so to people going through stuff like this, you don't bullshit. You don't put this crap off. And I just, I don't think people get what you go through. I don't think people get that it wasn't just that one instance for a lot of us that was really bad and really degrading. It was a lot of bullshit before and after and around it, and especially before in my situation. And I think it's important to talk about. So I do want to make a video about that too. I want to be here to really support you guys and be here to really help you guys with that too. And I also wanted to say on a light note, because I don't want to make that video until I really think about it, really have it well planned out, because it's really important to me. But I do also want to make a video about some of my tattoos, because I do have tattoos related to this specific heavy topic and to very heavy events in my life, like PTSD, sexual assault, postpartum, my kids, the best and most happy things in my life, the worst people and best people in my life, loss, love, drugs, doesn't matter, animals, everything, literally. People that played really important parts in my life, people that hurt me, people that made me the best person I could be, people that broke me down to be the worst. My whole story is on my sleeves, literally, and I would love to share like a really important tattoo with you guys, like maybe once a week or once a month or something. So I'd love to maybe do that as like a step off, do that next, or if you would want to hear it, or do one of the other videos first and then that. So that'll be one of the poll options. I'm sorry this turned into a really long rambling video, but I love you guys and it helped me a lot to talk, so I'm sorry that it was so all over the place. I'm gonna go play with a bird for a little bit and then get on with my day. I love you guys. Please let me know. I'll put up the voting, maybe not right away, but once this has a couple of views, just to see what people are saying. And yeah, I'll put up a poll and hopefully get up a few good videos soon. I love you guys. Thanks for listening to this.